All right, here we go again. It's the 2 o'clock hour, and we have actually Florida's own Steve Sentis, the other half of the brothers, Scotti over at Campbell, as we know. And Steve said that he can still pin Scotti. He told me that off the air. So, Scotti, if you're listening, that's what he said. And anyway, Florida own. He's taken that Florida blood up to New Bedford High School, where he has grown a program from zero to where it is today. And we'll talk about that. He wrestled at the University of Michigan for 4 years. He was a 3-time Florida State placer. And his whole family is still deeply rooted in Florida wrestling and wrestling in the entire nation. So welcome, Coach Steve Sentis. Thank you so much for coming on. I do appreciate it. I'm honored to talk with you, and welcome.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I'm honored. And talk about, obviously, we've got the COVID thing going on, and that kind of I'm sure that kind of halted your off season.
Yeah, it's been really tough too, because the majority of my team is seniors, and I had a lot of them in the classroom. So I'm not very good at saying goodbyes and stuff, and I haven't been able to spend that extra time with those kids and kind of help them advance a little bit more in life and stuff. So it's been hard, and I know it's been hard on them because I didn't have a prom or anything like that. So
yeah, and I mean, talk about what you've been doing during the off season and what you've been having them do just to kind of keep themselves in shape or keep their mind right or prepared for an off season when we come out of this.
Yeah, we kind of just been staying in contact and just talking about some things we're going to do once we get, cleared to do things. But most of them been working out, like running and stuff like that. So they kind of asked me for what they should be doing, and I'll send them like a little workout plan. But we haven't been on the mats at all yet. So,
well, hopefully you'll get open here shortly. I know down here in Florida, we opened up a little bit, and people are starting to do their thing. And I know cases, there's a lot more testing going on, so cases are up. So we'll see kind of where it goes. Hopefully we can just get through this and everybody back in. There's a guy, Steve Sentis, that just said, "Hello, Coach Sentis."
That's my dad.
So it must be Dad. Hello, Dad. Good job with these two boys. So yeah, I mean, let's talk about it. So you're up there in Massachusetts now. So what has your coaching philosophy been, and how has it changed from place to place?
My philosophy's kind of stayed the same. I got it really from my dad and from my high school coach. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. That's kind of like our motto that we go by. And I think what I kind of different than most coaches is I noticed, like, the first 2 weeks, a lot of coaches like do a lot of running and they're trying to get their kids in shape. But me, I have a lot of kids that their first year is their freshman year of high school. They didn't start wrestling when they were young. We've got a youth program going now, but so my thing is I teach technique and then mental toughness. That's kind of like what my focus is on. A lot of people are like, you can wrestle for 30 minutes if you're in shape, but if my guy pins you in 30 seconds, it's cool that he could wrestle, that long, but not gonna get to, you know what I mean? So that was kind of just my outlook and stuff.
That's awesome, man. And I mean, you have you went from being down in Fort Myers, which has a real high socioeconomic standing, coaching there, and then you went up to a school that really didn't have a program and not a lot of history, and the kids are a bit rougher and tougher there. And talk about the difference and the adjustments you had to make to coaching that type of kid from the Fort Myers kid.
Honestly, I think it's a lot easier. The kids up here, I can tell them exactly how I feel, and they'll take it. And sometimes the kids down there, when I was at Fort Myers, I had to kind of like, say it a little nicer or whatever. But up here, I just tell them straight how I feel. One thing I miss a little bit, it was down there, it was kind of like the parental involvement you had. Sometimes there's a little bit too much at Fort Myers. And up here, like anytime I reach out, these parents are willing to help, but they kind of just stay out of your way. You know what I mean? So I kind of like that.
Well, that's good, man. Well, you're obviously doing a lot of really, really good things up there. Talk about where New Bedford program was as a program when you got there and how you were able to create a wrestling culture and talk about the culture you've created and some of this season's highlights. As far as packing the gym, you're getting some television time now, but talk about where it was and what you've done to kind of build it.
So when I first came in, I think we had about 6 kids. I think we had a little more than that, but we had about that. All of those kids could scrap. They're all seniors though. So like I lost my entire year, my whole lineup after my first year. So we kind of like had to start from the ground up with the next class. So none of those kids that came in my second year had ever wrestled before. They were all football players. The coach that used to coach before me, his name's Freddie Pimentel. He's actually still a freshman football coach, and he helped push a lot of the kids in my direction towards wrestling, which is awesome. So he really helped me kind of like strengthen the program and get the numbers up and everything like that. But I also got to give credit to the kids that are on my team. One of them was he's a starting quarterback this senior year. He when he's a freshman, they had an undefeated season, but he finally got to start his senior year. He really helped grow the team a lot, just his popularity and stuff. Another kid, he's a heavier kid, 220 kid. He kind of helped recruit a lot of kids too. So the kids really helped kind of build our program up just by talking about how cool it was, And some of the things we did to kind of add to it was like we got a spotlight in the gym. Every kid has like an entrance song, and we just kind of made it fun. And all the like shirts and stuff we get are kind of different than everybody else. We had like Pin City shirts this year.
I was just going to say, everybody. I want a Pin City shirt. That shirt.
I'll get one here. Yeah, but we just kind of like, it's almost like a business, you know what I mean? When you run a wrestling program, you want everybody to be a part of that business. And I kind of learned that from another coach, actually from Florida, Joe Bazzico, kind of talked about how that's how you need to run a team, like market it and just get like a Twitter going and a Facebook page and stuff like that. So, that's what we did. All those kids would make little Instagram posts like, we got a match this tonight, and our stands are packed. It almost looks like a basketball game in Florida going on in our wrestling matches. So it's really, really cool. It gets a little rowdy in there, but I like it,
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I mean, you've obviously found a home up there in Massachusetts. You've been there now since 2015?
Yeah, it's my 5th year. Yep.
So that's awesome. So you've actually gotten to see a class move on to college and get to the next level. And that's got to make you feel real cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. And a lot of the kids that my goal through coaching is not just to make them good wrestlers. That's going to happen, but is to make them good fathers and good men in the future, and I think a lot of those kids, they're going to do good things, and that's one thing I'm proud of, I think.
Yeah. And I know you love those kids up there. Talk about what you did for them this year, as far as the graduating class. I mean, they couldn't have a graduation. So, a little birdie told me that you and the family did some stuff for them. Talk about that.
Yeah. So my family, I'm very lucky, man. I think a lot of coaches, like they have divorces and stuff because they spend so much time wrestling, but I'm very lucky because my wife is so involved. She makes peanut butter jelly sandwiches for the kids and stuff like that. My kids are every single wrestling match. I got a 11-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 3-year-old that are every single match. They're running, they're throwing balls into the middle of the mats and stuff like that. So they're a part of the team. But anyway, what we did is I don't know, I've been struggling with it just since, I've been with these kids for 4 years. We went around to every kid that was a senior's house, and we kind of just wrote them a message in chalk and just let them know that we're here. You know what I mean? That we're thinking of them. And I think they really appreciated that. And, I just really miss those kids. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. That talks about, obviously you have become not just a coach, but you really care and love for these kids. So that's awesome. And that's part of why I fell in love with the sport and started doing this, because of what you see from guys like yourself, and obviously your family and all the wrestling families that I've met through this platform and just doing this. But I know your family's involvement is huge. Talk about how involved your wife is and your kids, and what it means to look over on the I guess the sideline, as you call it, or off the mat and from the corner and see them there. And is Scotti a pretty cool uncle to them?
Yeah, he's a pretty good uncle. He's always playing tricks on me, so the kids love that. But my wife is my rock. I'll sometimes come home after a bad day of practice, or a kid acted up in class, and And she's the one that has to listen to that. And during wrestling season, the only thing I talk about with my wife is wrestling. Like, that's it. She calls herself a wrestling widow, I think, during wrestling season. Just because that's all I want to talk about, you know. And just to have my son be able to sit in the corner, you know, in a finals match and just like watch another kid wrestle and it's kind of like it's just so awesome. And my parents and my brother and everything last summer we actually had like a wrestling in the woods camp, and they all came down there. My wife was there, and it was just it was a lot of fun, you know, just because my wrestlers got to meet my brother, who's like a legend to them. I don't know why, because I beat him all the time. You know, my dad was there. They all wanted to meet him and stuff. And, you know, he's telling me they got to do 100 sweep singles a day and stuff like that. And it's cool because I told them these stories and then they meet him and they're like, oh, that's really true. You know, like how competitive Scotti is. You know, we played like a football game and, you know, Scotti got really into it and stuff. And the kids saw that. They just saw that competitiveness that I always told about. And it's just a cool thing that, you know, our whole family is so involved like that, you know?
Yeah, it's funny. I had John Lamarck on today from App State, and your brothers text me like, it's okay, you can be nice to him, because they're like this huge rivalry now, and it's pretty awesome, man. Well, I know that he mentioned that you had some interesting stories when you were younger, and there was a period in time where you kind of just skyrocketed from being like a 103 to like 174, and you couldn't help it. You just grew, but there was some many nights. Tell us the story about like the Saran Wrap and him following you on a bicycle and hiding from Papa Sentis.
Yeah, so sophomore year, I cut a lot of weight. Well, freshman year I weighed about 75 pounds, something like that. I used to have to drink water and stuff just to make weight. So I was a little guy, and then I took some weight gainer stuff, and I didn't lift weights. I played video games instead. I don't know why I did that, but and I got a little fat. I got up to like 125, and I decided I was going to go 103. So my dad was very, very against like wearing any kind of plastics or anything like that. So I wasn't allowed to have any of that stuff in the house. So me and Scotti had the idea wrap. So, you know, I saran wrap my whole body, and I'm just running around the neighborhood, and Scotty's behind me with the bike, about to run me over, tell me to go faster and stuff. But Scotti was always kind of just like that. I don't know. He was awesome to have around, but he also could get under my skin too. Like I'd come home and, you know, I'd have this set plate of salad that I'd have to eat. And Scotti would, you know, be eating a whole bowl of ice cream, which is my favorite thing. You know what I mean? And he just, oh, it's so cold. It's so good, you know? And that's Scotti, man. But in the sophomore year, when I went down to 103, I made it to the state finals. And before that, kind of drank a lot of shakes and stuff and kind of lost track of what the goal was. And in the finals, I think I weighed about 128. And I'd always been, you know, hovering around 108 the whole season. And I just kind of like, I broke around that time and just got really fat for the finals. And then senior year, I got all the way up to 170. And I think I ended up wrestling 160 at states and stuff like that. So,
wow. So talk about how the weight cutting in secret, but talk about how that experience of cutting and how that kind of molded your perspective on how you teach weight cutting and how important, not important, or kind of your philosophy behind it.
You know, I tell all the kids, I don't like my kids to cut weight. You know, I like them to wrestle what they weigh, because I think that weight cut, that takes a lot out of you. You know what I mean? And I think it takes away from our sport a little bit. I know it adds to the toughness and stuff, so I kind of avoid that. But if a kid chooses to cut weight on their own, then I kind of like help them like come up with a diet plan. And, you know, I try to help them get the extra workout in and stuff like that. But I really try to avoid that because that's like the part of our sport I really don't like. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, so Michigan wrestling or Central Michigan wrestling?
Oh, I'm Michigan all the way. Sorry.
You guys go back and forth a lot about that?
Yeah. I'll tell you though, Central has some crazy fans, man. I remember going there one time and all the fans had like newspapers while we were warming up and like, you know, reading the newspaper, wouldn't pay attention to us and stuff, like, and then they're yelling at us the whole time. So their fans are a little crazy, you know? So.
Well, I mean, Borelli's obviously done a tremendous job there.
He's a great guy.
Made some great things. Let's see. I think that's pretty much says it all. So you're up there at New Bedford. You're building that program, and How you liking it up there?
I love it. It's a lot different in Florida. We have snow here, but it's kind of weird. Like it snows, but we're so close to the water, it's gone like a week or two. So it's not like Michigan. Michigan, I couldn't go to class for like a week or two. You know what I mean? It's always plowed the the sidewalks and everything. Or I mean, I could have went to class, but I didn't. You know what I mean? It's too
That's
cold
awesome.
for me. So this is just right. And the kids here, they're all it's like a fishing community. They do a lot of whaling and they get scallops and stuff like that. So it's a tough community, and it's just I fit in perfect here. My coaching
Oh,
style.
that's awesome. And now you mentioned that you're growing a little youth program there. So talk about that, and if people are listening from that area, how can they get involved with your youth program and kind of what your philosophy is there and what you're doing?
So my second or third year, I think it was my second year. We started like a little youth program that went after like our high school program, and I was running that, and having your own family, it's tough to do all that, So luckily I had some alumni that came in and helped, and also a guy named Joe DeBodari who wrestled up here, and they kind of like took over the program, and they run it at a elementary school up here. But we do have a Facebook page. It's like New Bedford Wrestling Club. They call themselves the Sharks, and I think they practice 2 to 3 days a week. So it's cool, and that's the easiest way to get a hold of them is through Facebook.
Man, that's awesome. So good to see another Florida guy doing big things in our country for this sport. That's awesome. And I've got some questions for you. Ready?
Oh yeah. Okay. Are any of these Scotti questions though?
No.
Okay, good.
No. I already got those through. But first of all, before we get into 10 questions, did I miss anything? Is there anything you want to discuss, talk about? Is there any shout outs you want to give, anything that we missed?
No, I just shout out to the class of 2020, man. They're the best,
Yeah.
I'm really going to miss them. At our school, we have something called advisory, and you teach the same kids all 4 years. You have them like that first period, and all you do is kind of like help them out with stuff. And I'm really going to miss those kids too, even though they're wrestlers. You know what I mean? I'm going to miss them. So this is a class I'll always remember. It'll always be in my heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, awesome. That's cool. All right, so Antonio's or Liberty Lobster?
Oh, Antonio's.
Brigham's or Little Mo's?
Oh, I didn't hear the first one.
Brigham's or Little Mo's Pizza? Little Mob's Pizza.
Little Mobs.
All right. I'm trying to read my own handwriting. Whaling Museum or Fire Museum?
Ooh, I love the Whaling Museum.
The Cliff Walk or Harbor Walk?
Harbor Walk.
Lobster rolls or fish and chips?
Ooh, I'm allergic to fish. I gotta go lobster rolls.
Oh, you're allergic to fish.
Yeah, it's one tough thing up here, man.
Well, but not shellfish, so I might still be good here.
Yeah.
Cannolis or Boston cream pie?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I eat both probably, but we'll go Boston cream pie.
Socks or the Pats?
Oh man, I'll go socks. My wife's staring at me in the corner over here, so that's her too.
That's 13. All right. Fried clams or scallops?
Ooh, I go with scallops probably.
Nice. And then the New England clam chowder or the seafood stew?
Clam chowder, that's the best up here.
I would imagine. I remember we went on vacation to Boston a few years back, and we were staying right across the street from Faneuil Hall.
Yep.
And it was awesome. You could walk right across the street, get a bowl of clam chowder, walk right down to Little Italy. Man, it was cool. But you're about what, an hour from there or so?
Yeah, something like that. I think everywhere in Massachusetts is like an hour. It's crazy.
Are you closer to Rhode Island?
Yeah, Providence is like right around the corner from me.
Awesome. Yeah, I had Coach Grayson on Monday.
Oh, awesome. He's a great guy. Another Central guy.
Yeah, I'm like the Central Michigan platform. That's pretty cool. Well, that's awesome, man. Hey, man, I love your brother. I love you. Thank you for coming on here. What a great family. I hope to get your dad on. I'm sure he's listening. Tell him to click the book now button and come on and tell me how he built such an amazing family. So thank you so much. And I appreciate all your support for the show. And I don't know what else to say. New Bedford kicks
Thank
ass.
you so much. I'll make sure you get that Pin City shirt too.
Yeah, Pin City. Go Pin City. Yeah, hit me up. I'm fat. I'm size XXL. So,
okay.
But I saw you in that shirt. I was like, wow, that's dope. I like it.
Thanks,
All right, man. You take it easy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.